Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is when you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. Ashe. At various times in my life, I have gotten deeper and deeper into my own identity, my own groove, and in being able to create a space that was most conducive to who I am and how I operate and what's really most complementary to my skills and my abilities, I've found over and over again that something would happen that would bump me out of my comfort zone and thrust me into a new environment, a new reality. And it's indicative of what I consider the relationship between destiny and fate. My destiny, like your destiny, is my identity. Identity is destiny. And so the identity of water is water, right? You can't change the qualities of water. You can't make water not be water. But then the road of fate, however, does transform water from liquid to vapor to solid, etc. And that's what we know as the water cycle. And the water cycle, in so many ways, is a good model and template for the process of human development and transformation. The only difference being you have will and thoughts. You have your own interests and desires. There are things that you want to be. And you also have your ideas about what's necessary for you to become what you aspire to. And so, in my own case, I'm reminded of the time when, I became a professional educator because I accepted that's who I was. That's what I wanted to do. I started off at Howard University, and I was a business major. And to be honest, I just couldn't do well in business classes. And I think I never got better than a C in any of those courses that were related to business. And meanwhile, I always excelled in the humanities, always, especially language. But I just didn't see any kind of success in language. I just couldn't envision, like, how am I going to be successful, reading books and knowing about culture and stuff like that. There's no pathway to success in that. And so I determined that I was going to be a business major. But then practicality set in. It's like, hey, you're not going to graduate if you try to stick with this business, oh boy. And so I was knocked out of the business, right? And I had to go with my strengths. And I ended up studying language, right? So that was one real pivotal phase in my development wherein my idea about who I was and how I was going to succeed reached its limit, and I had to accept that there's a better way. If you're gonna just complete the process, let alone thrive, you're gonna have to go with nature. Later on, I accepted that, in addition to really being a lover of the humanities, I had to accept that, what I really like to do is teach. I love teaching. Teaching comes naturally to me. I cannot stop teaching. So let me just lean into it. And so I became a professional educator. And as such, I ended up running my summer camp, There's a lot of steps up in between all that. But I became a summer camp coordinator, right? And in running my summer camp, I was able to create this haven. You see me here in the woods. This is how I am. This is what I love. This is what brings me total fulfillment and gratification. And so being able to spend my days in the woods with the children, singing, hiking, picking berries, making arts and crafts, telling stories, I was in heaven, and I had no intention on leaving that. But then the road of fate prevailed again, and I just wasn't making the money that I needed. And by this time, I had a family, I had a house, and I had to make that money. And so I ended up in the tech industry, of all places. And I had a lot of anxiety about that because there's nothing tech about me. But I was in the Bay Area and tech was king. And so I could get a low level tech job that paid me more than I ever made in education. And so I took it on, and that one thing led to another, and I ended up being a corporate trainer. And not just a corporate trainer, but a Fortune 100 corporate trainer, meaning that the Fortune 100 are the top 100 companies in the country. And so I was going into multi-million dollar corporations and training their top level executives. No lie, this is the honest to God truth. I was training C-level executives and managers and regional managers. These are people who were doing millions of dollars a week in their business, millions. And I'm coaching them and advising them and showing them the ways to unlock the code of engagement. Because whatever business you're in the people business. And you've got to be able to activate people. You've got to be able to motivate people. You've got to be able to inspire people. You've got to be able to enhance people's skills and let them feel a sense of ownership and investment in what you're doing and what you're asking them to do. And that was my forte. And so I was really struck by how the things that I had been doing that matched my skills and my nature had now brought me into the world of business, which had been denied to me in the beginning of my quest. But I'll never forget the day when we were doing a training, and this is at Walmart, right? Walmart is the second largest employer in the United States. Only the U.S. Post Office at the time had more employees, and I'm sure that's still very much the case. And so the CEO of Walmart was there, part of our training. His name was Lee Scott. I don't know who the CEO is now, but Lee Scott was the CEO of Walmart. And Lee Scott came up and he started talking about indirectly my training. And, like I said, the training was about engagement. Engagement meaning getting people involved and active in the process. And this is really pivotal because Lee Scott is the biggest CEO in the country. This is like somebody who's on the level of Steve Jobs, who's on the level of Bill Gates, Lee Scott. And he's making a positive commentary on what I do in front of all of his people. One of the things that he says is, a lot of people are here and I understand what you're doing. You're waiting. You're waiting and you're waiting. And I was like you when I started working here. And I thought that if I just was quietly doing my work, and then my merits would speak for themselves, and somebody would recognize me, somebody would notice me, and somebody would come and pluck me out of my lowly position and elevate me because I was doing such good work or because I was such a good person, and all these kinds of ideas and notions. And then something happened, and I realized that was nonsense. And the only way I was going to get noticed is if I had distinguished myself. I would have to stand out. I would have to do something extra. I would have to lean into my discomfort and stop hiding out. And I really understood a lot of my own journey that, there's a balance between creating an environment that's conducive to your strengths and then hiding out. And the fact that I'm here in Atlanta is still indicative of how this process is playing out in my life. Some of you know that I was planning to go to Trinidad, and even hidden from myself, I was really ready to go into retirement. I wanted to hide out. I wanted to go into the tropics, and I wanted to be close to the beach, and I wanted to be drinking mango juice and eating delicious, Trini food, which is arguably the best in the world. And I just want to live a quiet life and fade into the backdrop of the woods. That's what I want to do. But the road of fate wouldn't allow it. The road of fate said, no, I'm going to send you to the hub of African American Orisha devotion. I'm going to send you to the place that's like equivalent to Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance. I'm sending you to the equivalent of Florence during the Renaissance. I'm going to send you right there to Front Street, to Atlanta, Georgia. And I'm going to have you show up and show out, because otherwise you would be fading into the darkness before you even got started. And so here I find myself in Atlanta, all the way out of my comfort zone, but recognizing the absolute necessity that the road of fate has brought me here, so that I could really have a deeper understanding and appreciation of my identity, so I could have a real, true, authentic understanding of my destiny, my role, and my purpose in the grand scheme of things. There's something that I'm supposed to be doing, and although I need to play to my strengths, I need to enhance my strengths, I can't lapse into my comfort zone and stop growing, stop leaning into it, stop reaching out, stop standing up, stop digging deeper. I can't do that and fulfill my destiny at the same time. And I want to impart this message to you because I know there are a lot of you who are here in the school, and you've gotten right here to the edge. You've come to a place where you recognize, hey, these are where your strengths can flourish. Hey, these are where people are going to be modeling the kind of behavior and the kind of activities that you admire and you respect and you want for yourself. But you are getting comfortable with just being here and being an observer. You've gotten comfortable with just being able to see what's going on, and you think that's enough. And that's not enough. I want you to take this as your nudge from the road of fate to say you've got to get out of your comfort zone, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to dig deeper. You got to reach higher. Put yourself out there. Stop making excuses to do what you did yesterday. Do more. Study more. Get on the Zoom call. Turn your camera on. Raise your hand. Participate in the breakouts. Do the assignments. Complete your study guide. Do the opening of the stomach. Let us see you. Let us hear from you. Let us get a real sense of who you are and what you bring to the table. Stop hiding. No one's going to discover you and have this miraculous wow, aha, because of your noble essence and character. You got to get out there and you got to show us what you're made of. You got to show and prove. You got to demonstrate why you're here. You got to demonstrate at least the willingness to find out who you are and why you're here. That's the only way that you're going to be able to help bring about the good condition. It's not going to happen in your comfort zone. So take the small measured steps that are going to have a big impact on you being able to reveal yourself to yourself and to the people who matter most. I know that you're the leaders. I know that you are the ones who are determined to improve the world through positive influence. So I want you to get in here. I want you to get involved. I want you to start participating in what we have to offer you here in the School of Orisha Studies, so that we can help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. I look forward to seeing more of you and working with you more intensively. Bye for now. Odabo.